Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. I'm going to steal your host today. Kermit the Crab is
Kermit the Crab?
Mrs. Steal Girl. Okay. Yes! You're telling me Kermit the Crab doesn't have sex appeal?
Who's Kermit the Crab?
The man is Bondian.
Crab. You're saying crab.
You keep saying crab.
He's a frog.
He's a frog.
I said, wait. Oh.
Oh, that's staying in.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Cinema Pursuit. My name is Vikash, and my co-host is...
Zach.
Alrighty, I've got Zach with me, and today we've got a special guest, someone who's kind of been coming along for the ride already. Our producer, Zach's wife, my friend, Catie. What's up?
Hey, guys. I'm here. I'm here the whole time, and I'm actually going to talk.
Alrighty, ho, ho, ho. We're doing a Christmas draft today. The perfect movie Christmas draft. Zach, give us the details as to what this draft is.
Sure. So the concept for this draft is going to be a bit different than maybe other drafts that you've seen on other podcasts. What we're trying to create here is that we're each trying to draft elements of a Christmas movie, of a stereotypical Christmas movie in some cases, to create what we would consider the perfect Christmas movie. It's the Christmas movie we would want to see. So what we're not doing is we're not drafting individual movies, but parts of a movie. So for instance, drafting actors, drafting a setting, drafting a stereotypical Christmas plot. So we're going to be drafting all those concepts and doing it in what is, I don't know, it's not really a snake order or not really an auction order, but instead it's going to go, the first person is going to pick the category and then make the first selection, and then the other two people are going to follow up with their selections. Then the second person in that list, it's going to start the next category off, explain the category, pick the category, and then we're all going to go through and make our selections. And it's just going to keep going like that. And if that sounds stupid or crazy, you'll understand it once we start going. We thought about it for a little bit. With that said, before we start, I actually want to kick it to you, Kat. Kat, what did Christmas movies mean to you growing up?
So I grew up in like a Disney Christmassy household. Christmas starts like super early on. We put up our tree beginning of November. So we'll start watching our Christmas movies at beginning of November, sometimes watch them year round. But that's because they're so magical. You always go to like the classics where it's Rudolph with the stop motion animation, a really old school Christmas movie, and then you'll go through the rest. You'll see Nightmare Before Christmas. You'll watch Elf. All these movies are just so whimsical and magical, and I just thoroughly enjoyed them as a kid, and I feel like they keep us all children at heart.
And I think this podcast is kind of that. It's very much something where we're trying to stay young with the stuff that we love. For me, when I was a kid, I'm Hindu, but I grew up in Georgia, and we didn't really do anything Christmas at home, but we were always watching Christmas movies at school. She brought up Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We used to watch that all the time. We watched all sorts of Christmas movies, and I really love Christmas movies because of that. It's nostalgic, but on top of that, it does bring you that certain level of joy that you really can't find in a lot of movies. And we're not going into any sort of weird corner. I wouldn't say weird, but we're not going into any specific corner. We're not going to talk about Tokyo Godfather, Satoshi Kon's movie. We're going to keep it classic Christmas for the most part, things that we all love and know, even though movies like Tokyo Godfather are great. So Zach, what are your memories of Christmas movies?
My memory of Christmas movies were two different types. First was the Charlie Brown Christmas. We watched that for every holiday, really. We watched whatever the specific Charlie Brown movie was, but especially for Christmas, we would do that every year. And I have a record actually with the soundtrack that I keep by my record player that we play every year when we're setting up the tree, because it's just a classic and it brings up good memories. The other one I grew up with, and I can't remember the director, but do you guys remember those stop motion Christmas movies? There was a bunch of them. They were straight to TV, Rudolph.
Yeah, you're talking about the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There's
Santa Claus Comes to Town.
Yeah, Santa Claus Comes to Town was the one I watched the most. I think we had Year Without Santa too. I feel like we watched that some too.
That one was one of my
favorites. Yeah, but we watched all those. And also the Frosty cartoon, the animated Frosty cartoon. We did that one a lot too. So I watched a lot of the classics growing up. And then as I got older, it became Elf. And it also eventually became Nightmare Before Christmas, which is my favorite modern Christmas movie.
It's funny you mentioned Frosty, the Frosty Show. The only reason I know that Frosty Show you're talking about is because I used to love watching Batman and Robin. It was the only Batman movie I had. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. He's sitting there with a fat cigar watching the Frosty Show. And I used to love watching him watch that show. And I mean, I didn't even mention it. Like nowadays, we do watch Christmas movies every year. My mom's favorite is Home Alone. So Home Alone, Elf, Die Hard, kind of sometimes. And then a few other ones, but like Home Alone is always the number one. Like that's the one where it's like that emotional feeling of like Christmas, you get that.
Which Home Alone?
1 and 2.
No, but like, what's your favorite?
You can watch 3 if you like Scarlett Johansson.
Is she in 3?
She's in that.
As like a kid?
She is in that.
As a kid,
She
I was
is in
like,
that
oh,
movie.
I was like, that sister's kind of cute. I was like, oh, understandable. I'm being serious. I'm not joking. Like as a kid when I was watching
Okay,
that.
I'm glad you clarified as a kid. So thank you for clarifying that.
As a kid.
Wait, so which Home Alone's your favorite out of 1 and 2?
1, maybe? No, 2. I like 2 more.
I think 2 for me.
2 was my favorite.
2 has the juice, and 1 has the juice
Yeah.
too, but it's just there's a magic behind them going to New York,
Yep.
and it sells every time.
New York is one of the best winter settings for a movie. Like, it just looks beautiful. There's so much. It's just Americana, man. I love it.
It's all dreamy too.
Mhm.
It makes the city less city and more like whimsical. It's so nice.
Because, I mean, like, any movie that is set in New York, it's all automatically epic for some reason. I have all the New York love, but it's like if you put it as a Christmas background, it's the best version of New York possible.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So let's get to the draft. Zach, explain some of these rules, and then we'll get right into the draft.
Sure. So before we started, we went ahead and randomized the order. The order will be Kat will go first, Vikash will go second, and then I'll be going last. And so the draft order, as I mentioned earlier, it'll be switching one person each time we do a category. The first person will pick the category and we'll all follow up. So saying that, we're trying to make the perfect Christmas movie. So when we pick someone, we'll explain a little bit about what we're trying to do. And then at the end, we'll recap everybody that we picked and explain a little bit about our movie and give it a cool title.
Yeah. So before we start, everyone that we're going to be choosing through these categories, whether that's actors, directors, etc., they all have to be people that have been in Christmas projects before. So for example, if I wanted like a lead actor, I could choose Macaulay Culkin because he was in Home Alone 1 and 2. But I could also have a lead actor that's as obscure as Peter Dinklage because he was in one scene in Elf. So there's no limit as to who we can pick, as long as they've been in a Christmas project, a Christmas movie. So let's just get into the categories. Kat, first category, take it away.
Okay, so I'm glad that this happened because I'm going straight to director. So then we can get into the debate of if we're going to consider the Wes Anderson short film that he made for H&M, if that's going to be considered a short film instead of an ad, and I can use Wes Anderson. I think
No
Wes
vetoes.
Anderson would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'll give it to you and I'll explain why. One, I will consider that a short film, even though it was used as a commercial. It was a short film. I will consider anything that was created as a film. So as long as it's not an episode of television or a music video, I'll consider it as film, and that works. So you can do that.
Yeah, I made sure to watch the video too to make sure it was like a short film and not just him popping into a commercial. And it was beautifully done. Highly recommend it. It's called Come Together. It's directed by Wes Anderson. It's H&M short film. It's really cute and wholesome. Highly recommend watching it. It's only about 5 minutes long. But I want to create a Wes Anderson Christmas movie. The only way I can create it is if I have the director. So that's my goal here.
Alrighty. So Kat's got her Wes Anderson as her director. Out of pocket pick, but he's a great pick. But let me get mine done. Let's see. For me, I had to go obviously film. My first choice was Chris Columbus. The guy's made Home Alone 1, 2, Harry Potter 1, 2, Percy Jackson, Christmas Chronicles 2. He's written a bunch of stuff. The guy knows Christmas. He knows that cheer. And that's exactly what I want for my movie. No matter what sort of hijinks are happening, that man knows how to make a Christmas movie. Zach, who's your choice?
Well, let me ask you before we move on to me. Is Harry Potter his Christmas movie, or is there a different one?
No, Chris Columbus's Christmas movie is Home Alone 1 and 2.
Oh,
And he made Christmas Chronicles 2 with Kurt Russell.
Yeah. It's because we think of
I
Harry
forgot
Potter
about
when we think
that.
of
Yeah,
him.
well, we had a debate before about if Harry Potter 1 or 2 is a Christmas movie. So my mind was just on that, and I totally forgot that he did one of the most iconic ones, Home Alone. Not to mention you said the Christmas Chronicles. So yeah, he's definitely a Christmas director. Wow, I never knew that.
Honestly, great
yeah, I
pick.
never thought about that. So my pick is, and let me explain. So part of this draft is that you don't have to just take anybody that is modern. You can take someone from the past or someone who maybe had their heyday in the past, who's still alive or not alive, whatever you want to do. No, not many rules here. So for my Christmas director, I'm actually taking Richard Donner. If you don't know who Richard Donner is,
Hold up.
he directed Lethal Weapon, The Goonies, Superman, and oh, by the way, he directed Scrooged, the Bill Murray, I'm wearing the shirt for it right now, the Bill Murray
This man.
Christmas movie that starred Bill Murray.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, if I talk about Dick Donner, Richard Donner, if I talk about one director like Ridley Scott that does not get the credit that they deserve, it is Dick Donner. This man literally made Superman. The man's made Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4. He made 16 Blocks. He made Scrooged. He made The Omen. There is no genre this man could not touch and bring magic to. I hate you, Zach. That is an amazing choice. Kat, have you ever seen any of Dick Donner's movies? I'm like, this man was a legend, a pure legend.
I'm pretty sure
And
he's
he's
seen
recently
at least
passed
a couple,
away.
but it was
Yeah.
a while ago.
And I want to explain my pick. So the reason I picked Richard Donner was that he is a master of making the family-friendly action-adventure movie, which I believe some of the best Christmas movies that aren't comedies, like straight-up comedies, are really fun action-adventure movies, and that's what I wanted to replicate here, so he's my pick.
I'd argue
Good
that
pick.
they're not necessarily, like, his movies aren't necessarily family friendly, but he has this family friendly aspect where he's able to have maybe crude material, something like Goonies, but it's very much family oriented. And look at Superman, even the movies where they are very hard R-rated movies, he's doing something where it's like the R rating is not there for like usual R rating content. Put it that way.
Oh, and I'll just say, I've seen Scrooged. It's okay.
No. It's not. Dick Donner is better than that. You have to give the man a script.
He had a Christmas movie, so he was out there for me to grab. But yeah, he's done okay.
We are not going to judge what movies we're pulling these people from because I'm going to judge myself very heavily.
Pretty high and mighty for someone who took a Wes Anderson H&M commercial and called it a movie.
She's about to pick every single Hallmark actor that she
Right.
loves. And wink, 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 they got some good ones.
Kat's about to be like, I saw this one commercial where they had a Santa in it, and oh man, it was directed by Richard Linklater. I'm gonna take him next.
Hey, you know what? Yeah.
Since I'm number 2, I get to pick the next category. Katie picked director, but the next one that we need is a plot, in my opinion. I'm worried about story over everything. So we drafted and chose about 5 or 6 different types of stories that we have within the stereotypical Christmas plots. The first one is Home for the Holidays. Something like, Christmas Vacation, Christmas with the Cranks. The next one is Santa Needs Help. We're thinking more the Santa Claus, Tim Allen vibes. The next one is A Christmas Hostage Situation, Die Hard, obviously. And then Killer Christmas, Black Christmas, Krampus. There's a lot of horror movies out there that are Christmas oriented. And the last one, Stone Cold Classic, Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. They've done it. Scrooged, A Christmas Carol, quite literally done like 3 or 4 times. There's so many different
Muppets.
variations of it.
Muppets is really good. We watched that one last year.
That was a good one.
The Muppets.
I should have asked you
Muppets
if I
are
could have drafted Muppets as actors. I didn't even think about that.
Hold on. We should take a break for 30 minutes so I can redo
No.
this. Wes Anderson Muppets.
Oh, it's just Kermit. Kermit just shows up as a villain. He's like, "Hello, guys. You really wanted your Christmas joy? We're gonna steal all the joy today."
Can you do that voice, but do the ho ho ho? I have a machine gun.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! I'm gonna steal your hose today. Kermit the Crab is
Kermit the
Mrs.
Crab.
Steal Your Girl. Okay. Yes. You're telling me Kermit the Crab doesn't have sex appeal?
Who's Kermit the
The
Crab?
man is Bondian.
Crab. You're saying
You
crab.
keep saying crab.
He's a frog.
He's a frog.
I said, wait. Oh,
Oh, that's Dan.
Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Crab.
Okay, so my draft pick for Christmas plot out of the 6 that we have is I'm going to go with Santa Needs Help. Okay, so Santa Needs Help, classic one for me. It's one of the ones that I grew up loving. Anytime Santa needs help, whether it's Paul Giamatti or Tim Allen or whichever other Christmas Santa that you've got. I prefer Blanta, but whatever.
Honestly, classic. I don't even think you need to explain that one. I feel like all of my ideas, that was one of the
I'm
options.
pretty mad
on
at you
there.
right now.
Oh.
Okay, listen.
No.
I was so surprised. I thought you were taking like the Die Hard type Christmas hostage situation. I thought you were going
No.
there. And
I didn't even.
I'm so mad because I planned on that being the one I wanted to take. So now I got to change everything. This is not a Christmas miracle.
I'm being dead ass. I'll run it back. I can choose a different one.
That's it. Go with it.
No.
I am that confident.
Go with it.
That's your
That's your
selection.
selection. Go with it. Vikash,
That's your
what
selection.
did you think about those
Okay.
Tim Allen Santa Claus movies?
One's good. 3's bad. 2's good.
Do you remember who the villain in 3 is?
Yes, the great Martin Short.
Isn't that awesome?
And
Fantastic.
Martin Short is like Martin Short is like the most cocaine man without cocaine in his body, and I love him for
He
it.
really is.
I think about his line from Only Murders in the Building, where he's talking about like, I just eat dips for dinner. I'm like, Martin Short's my idol. That's all.
And now they call that girl dinner.
He's a vibe. I love him. Yes, they do.
Girl
On brand.
dinner. Okay, we're gonna get off TikTok.
Okay.
Zach, what's your pick?
So now you completely screwed me up. I got to go to my backup, which actually throws me off because I totally drafted Richard Donner thinking I was going to get to make like this Santa Needs Help action adventure movie. So I'm going to like pivot now. I'm going to go with using A Christmas Carol as my plot because that is the most Christmas, you know, like you said, the most used, the most replicated Christmas plot in movie ever. And I'm going to figure out a way to make it work now. So I now have Richard Donner directing A Christmas Carol.
I love Christmas Carol. I think it's one of those things where every time you watch one of those sorts of stories, it very much is a catharsis for the main character. You get it done within the movie. It doesn't take long. Charles Dickens was a genius with it.
It's a great progress of showing how someone can just look at their life and consider something, and then there's a change. I like the formula. It's really good. It's a classic. I think it's going to work out for you.
You got to shake them people out of apathy, as Batman says, and Batman Begins.
Do you guys remember the Disney Christmas Carol with Donald Duck as Scrooge?
Yes.
That was like really
That was
good.
the one I watched the most.
They had
It was fantastic.
yeah, right? They had Mickey was the family with little Tim and all that, but they had him and the different Disney characters showed up as Ghost of whatever. Those were fun movies. You never saw that? They're good.
I've never seen them.
You would really like
I
it.
gotta crank the Disney propaganda, whatever. I did see the Jim Carrey one, the mocap one.
I'm just saying, hot take, the best Christmas carols are the animated or the Muppets ones. Actually, the live action
Correct.
ones are worse than those. That's my hot take.
1000%.
Oh, yeah.
My Christmas plot, I'm very happy I went with this because the other ideas would have been destroyed by you two picking the other two categories or the other two selection. I'm picking Killer Christmas.
Wait, who's your
Listen,
director?
Wes
Wait, Wes Anderson horror movie? Wes Anderson horror movie?
Think of the
Let's
SNL
go.
skit.
Let's
Think of
go.
that SNL skit.
Finally, this man finally. Oh yeah, you're right.
There's an
That's
SNL
from high
skit about
school.
him
Oh my
creating a
God.
horror movie, and I was brainstorming yesterday. I said, perfect. I was going to have him do a Santa Needs Help instead, but no, this is great.
If you haven't seen that SNL sketch, go to YouTube whenever you have time and watch it. It's from like the 2010s. It's a great sketch that they did. I'm
Hilarious.
pretty sure Owen Wilson's the one that's in it.
Yes,
Kat, you're
I'm
about
pretty
to cook.
sure. Oh, dude, I know. I'm very excited.
Okay, number 3. Zach, what are you choosing for your category?
So I want to go with setting. We have a few settings that we worked on together that we can use for our plot. So let me read them off. First is the classic snowy New England Christmas suburb. Just that classic, like, what's a good one?
There's so many of these movies. You can say Santa Claus, you can say Deck the Halls,
Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation, every Hallmark movie, the idyllic suburb.
We can tweak that a little bit. I said New England. It could be Chicago. It could be any other city that gets good snow. The next one takes place in the Mall of America the night before Christmas. The next setting is a fantasy Christmas land. The next one is a New York Christmas. We talked about that earlier. That is a classic Christmas setting. In the city is what I'm talking about too. I added Christmas in Old England. A lot of the Christmas Carol movies and Charles Dickens stuff likes to take place around then. And then the last one is a Christmas party. Think Die Hard. Christmas Eve, whenever you want to have the Christmas party. That's the settings that we can pick from. So, with my first pick, I am going to take a New York Christmas. With my movie, now that I'm having to do something about a Christmas Carol, I want to do a modern adaptation, and I'm going to do it in the snowy New York with some young people, probably some young millennials like myself, and I want to do a modern spin on it. So, that's what we're doing.
You are a hoe for doing that. Honestly, I mean, I'm not worried about it. I'm not
You
worried
a hoe
about
for
it. Who's
taking what
going
I
next?
wanted.
I love that
Ho,
you guys
ho,
are just
ho.
going to fight the whole time. Honestly, this is going to be really good for y'all's relationship. You're going to have some chaos here. I think the New York one is always a solid selection.
You can't go wrong with Christmas in New York.
Literally any plot you pop into New York, it'll work. It doesn't matter. For me, I'm going to be doing a fantasy Christmas land. So think like anything taking place in the North Pole. Elf when they are in the North Pole, not in New York. That's another New York one. Anything fantasy, Christmas, land, colorful, magical, Wes Anderson vibe, pastels. It'll be really nice.
Bye, buddy.
Hope you find your dad.
Okay, sorry, Vikash, you go.
Isn't Elf just like Maury? You are the father. And that man, James Caan, was like, that ain't my kid.
Side note, if you haven't watched it, I think Netflix has the movies that made us or the films that made us, and they do a whole episode on Elf.
Documentaries about movies are amazing. Okay, so Zach chose New York Christmas. Kat chose the fantasy Christmas land. My plot has to do with Santa Needs Help, and we're going to place that within a snowy New England idyllic Christmas suburb. It's going to cook. It's not as great as the fantasy land, but we going to make it. I mean, Santa gonna have to go to the North Pole at some point. I'm just saying, okay? Who's next?
It's me again.
Kat, what's our next category?
I'm trying to decide if we're going to do more aspects of the movie or if I want to jump into actors. I already know I'm probably going to have to fight for a couple people, but I kind of want to secure my lead before I have to fight for anyone.
Okay, so we're going to lead actor. Kat, who's your lead actor?
Nathan Fielder.
Oh, what Christmas movie? What was he in?
He was in The Night Before.
What?
It's a comedy. Haven't watched it.
I've seen it. He's in that?
It's it's like a 2015 movie. It stars Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anthony Mackie. Amazing cameo from Michael Shannon as a drug dealer, Lizzie Kaplan, and apparently Nathan Fielder.
But Nathan Fielder's in that movie. And if you don't know that movie, he is also in, and I think he produces The Curse and The Rehearsal. Fucking hilarious, dude. Love him. Very weird. I feel like he could do Wes Anderson very well.
Man, what a choice. His stock is high right now. That dude has been killing it the last few years. I mean, he's been killing it for a while, but his HBO stuff and then now The Curse, his stock is still rising. That dude's awesome.
For a little information, Zach actually dressed up as him in The Rehearsal for Halloween last year.
I did. From the first episode where he has the strap with the laptop and he's walking around the fake set for trivia at the bar, I dressed as him. Like, no one got it, but I still really thought it was a funny costume.
It was very funny because we paired it with me dressing as one of our friends.
Yeah, so it was like we were rehearsing.
No, I saw the episode and I was like, dang, that's kind of actually a good idea. I need to buy one of those. That was my thought when I saw him wearing that laptop.
I think I had to pay like $50, so I returned it immediately afterwards. Like, seriously, it was like $50.
Kat, you got your Nathan Fielder. Good for you. I love that man. But for me, I got to go with a different one. I got to go with a person of color. Do y'all know who Henry Golding is? He's in Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke. That's the Christmas movie that he's in. He's in the G.I. Joe movie, the new Snake Eyes one that wasn't that good, but he's a great actor. He's in Crazy Rich Asians. The guy, he's just like, he's an Asian man. This man he could practically be Bond. He's British. He's Malaysian British. The man just rips charisma. So he can play that kind of like good guy. Like, you want to hate this man because of what he's doing, but you inherently like him because he's just so charming. That's going to come into what I'm doing with mine. I've got Henry Golding. Kat, she's got Nathan Fielder. Zach, who do you got?
My lead actor is going to be Michael Cera. So,
Hell yeah.
Michael Cera was in the Sofia Coppola created A Very Murray Christmas. I watched that. It was like a Christmas special, less of a movie, but it was a movie on Netflix. And he shows up in a cameo in the movie. But the reason I picked him is because I watched some of Scott Pilgrim the other day, and he is so good at being a dick. And he would be perfect for a modern, grumpy main character in The Christmas Carol, to where he's grumpy about Christmas and is being a jerk to everybody. And if I were to reimagine that with a younger actor, I think he would be perfect for it.
He'd be a perfect Scrooge.
Yeah, I think he'd be great at it.
I feel like that fits the vibe you're looking for with Scrooge.
He's going to be this like older millennial.
I would have gone with like a Shamik Moore. He's the guy who plays the main guy in Into the Spider-Verse. He plays Miles Morales.
Yeah, but it's not Michael Cera.
But you're playing off his goodwill in this world. That's the guy who talks like this.
Between Scott Pilgrim and This Is the End, there is an untapped vein of Michael Cera just being a dick that has not been used enough that he's really good at. And that's what I want to do.
I understand exactly what the vibes you're going for with Michael Cera.
That's my choice. Now it goes back to Vikash. Oh, one thing I do want to say while Vikash is gathering his thoughts. If I haven't said it already, everybody who is an actor or a director in this draft has to have appeared in a Christmas movie as an actor, or a director, you've had to have directed a Christmas movie. So we're not just pulling from a list of random people or anybody who's ever acted. we're trying to keep it to people who have been in movies before that are about Christmas.
Out of all the categories that we have, the one that I want to move to next is lessons learned, meaning every single Christmas movie of the classic form, they always have a lesson that you want to learn, some sort of moral value lesson, whatever. So the ones that we cooked up were You Have to Believe, meaning Polar Express. If you hear it, you believe. You got to believe. They have it in Elf too. The second one is Value Your Loved Ones. Think Value Your Loved Ones. Think Jingle All the Way. Think Christmas Carol. There's so many more. The third one is It's Okay to Be Yourself. Zach was talking about Nightmare Before Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, OG, new and old, something that's always come through. The fourth one is Do the Right Thing. That could be Home Alone 2. That could be It's a Wonderful Life.
Great Spike Lee movie.
Yeah. Second last one is Don't Be Judgmental, A Christmas Carol, yet again. And the last one, True Wealth Isn't Money. Again, Christmas Carol. Low-key, It's a Wonderful Life also.
And the reason we're doing lessons learned is because one thing that's common across all Christmas movies is that there's usually a lesson to learn at the end. That's a big theme of Christmas, is that what do we learn about life at the end of this movie, especially because a lot of them are kids-focused movies. So that's why we included this category for this draft.
And the one that I'm going to pick, the one that I see the most that aligns with my life too, is Value Your Loved Ones. With the story that I have, it is about helping Santa. But these movies typically, they kind of go 2 or 3 different ways and come around together. They resolve extremely well, so I'm excited. Zach, do y'all have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, value your loved ones. I mean, am I supposed to argue against valuing your loved ones? Is there a hot take
I think
to value your loved ones?
Yeah, screw your loved ones. Be selfish.
If you can't see his face, he is in the most dour mood. This man is trying not to cry because his wife will literally spank him. Zach, what's your choice?
I'm glad I get to edit this. For lessons learned, I'm kind of pigeonholed with Christmas Carol, but luckily Christmas Carol has multiple different meanings. So I'm going to pick one for this one to focus on. I'm going to pick True Wealth Isn't Always Money, because in those movies, Scrooge has a bunch of money, keeps the money to himself, he doesn't share, he doesn't help anyone out, and only at the end does he figure out that true wealth is companionship and not money. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I feel like that's an auto select for you, so you just had an easy win here.
These formulas, they work so well, and Dickens wrote this in like the 18th, 19th century, whatever, and it still holds well today. The whole beauty of a formula is that it recognizes human behavior, things that don't change, or they should change, and they make stories about them. It's genius, simple, elegant.
Okay,
That's what you
so
need.
I'm doing a killer Christmas, so Do the Right Thing is going to be my lesson learned. Pretty straightforward, you know, get rid of the killer, do the right thing.
Wait, so
save
hold on.
people.
So Nathan Fielder's gonna be out here dealing with some bad guy. He's the one who's gonna be running and gunning.
You don't know this. No.
She's still building
not
her movie. We'll
necessarily.
know at the end when she
I'm
tells us.
still building it.
I'm excited to hear it. Okay, so we're almost to the end. Our 6th category, Zach. Which category
This
are we
is
going
to be
with?
interesting, but I'm going to go with the antagonist category. Every Christmas movie has some sort of antagonist. Now, what's funny is that this movie, it's kind of weird because in A Christmas Carol, Scrooge is kind of his own antagonist, but he does have an antagonist earlier in the story. And do you know who that is? That's little Timmy, the crippled kid in the book and the movie. That is his antagonist. That's the one that he's basically made out to be a bad guy because he won't help this poor kid and his family. You know, usually his dad works for him or whatever. So little Timmy in my story is going to be played by Kieran Culkin. You know him
Beautiful.
from Succession. You know him from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, also with his co-star Michael Cera.
You know him as the kid in Home Alone 1 that is drinking too much milk and he's gonna puke everywhere. And somehow they dressed him up with glasses and all that, and you can't really tell that he and Macaulay are brothers, but they make it work.
So Macaulay got the star in a Christmas movie, and I think it's Kieran's turn. Kieran was in Home Alone. That's how I'm able to pick him. And he is my choice for this modern reimagining of Christmas Carol as little Timmy.
That man knows how to be a hater.
I love
That's
him.
all I'm gonna say. That man, if he needs to be a hater, he gonna hate.
So, good pick. I love him. He's funny. He can also do dry humor and stuff too. Like, honestly, good pick. So, antagonist. This is the one that Zach came into my office right beforehand, and we were about to start fighting before we even started recording because he saw someone that was on my list. I have Jason Schwartzman on my list for the antagonist.
I'm sick and tired of this Wes Anderson shit on this Wes Anderson Christmas draft. Come on, guys. Be creative with this.
I had Jason
Jesus.
Schwartzman highlighted.
Quick side note, the man was amazing in the Hunger Games movie. He murdered it. And he's had an amazing year. He's the Blot guy. He's the villain of Cross the Spider-Verse. And he had Asteroid City that he was kind of leading. Amazing year from Jason Schwartzman. I can be a baby all I want, but amazing choice.
Yeah. Kat, explain your pick.
First off, he can do Wes Anderson. That's like the first thought is, can he do the vibe that I'm looking for? And then secondly, I feel like he would be an incredible antagonist. Imagine him as the killer. He's going around trying to kill people in my Wes Anderson movie. I don't know how it could get better. I had a backup pick after I heard that Zach was potentially going to pick him, and she is also a good pick, but she has not done Wes Anderson or has shown herself to do it. I will mention her later.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman was going to be my first pick if I got the plot I wanted, so you're welcome. I love Jason Schwartzman. I think he's one of the funniest actors alive, and I think he is very smart at what he picks to show up in. So when he showed up in the Hunger Games, I was like, he doesn't really do big IP very often, and he was my favorite part of that movie, the new one. He was so perfect casting, so funny, and I will probably go see the next Hunger Games movie, assuming he'll be in it if they make another one.
Zachary, there's no books for it.
They'll figure it out. They like money.
Listen, we will discuss Hunger Games universe later. Next episode.
Our next pod is Catching Fire, guys.
Hell yeah.
So for my villain, so when you have a situation where Santa needs help, you've got to have some sort of villain who's like, I'm gonna ruin Christmas. Who is so disgusting that they could ruin Christmas? Is it Denzel? Because he's in A Preacher's Wife. He's actually a Christmas choice. Is it Delroy Lindo? One of my favorite actors. Nah, I gotta go classic with it. Jingle All the Way. I'm going with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's gonna be the villain in this movie. He's the one who's gonna come in and be like, I'm gonna ruin Christmas for you today. What do y'all think?
I think that's great.
Arnold, let's go.
I just want to comment on your impersonation. That is the funniest Indian Arnold Schwarzenegger I've ever heard in my life.
Someone clip that and make it go.
Yeah, because it didn't sound like him. It sounded like you doing an Indian accent as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'll be back. Does this sound better? You got to like drop your jaw because he doesn't really move his mouth too much.
I think that's good. You don't really see him as a villain very often in movies, so I think that's an interesting choice. I don't even know if he still acts.
No, he still does act. He just had a show come out, Fubar, pretty solid if you like that action movie stuff. Yeah, but I think Arnold is such a great actor for these sorts of movies, but he never gets to be the villain. I think he's rarely been a villain, and I love a villain arc. In Denzel, I was thinking about Denzel. I was thinking about Delroy Lindo. These guys can play villains. They're classics. You want a very strong villain with these movies, and they all would have sold. My other one was Christine Baranski. She would have been great as a villain too. But Arnold, he's awesome.
What was Christine Baranski on?
She's the attractive lady in The Grinch. That's like shooting the cannon.
Oh, no.
We're not going to talk about this.
I know you like her.
I respect that woman. Cheers.
I am actively working on a pivot.
She was in a Bad Moms Christmas as well.
Bad Moms Christmas is where I got a lot of my women cast ideas.
So we're on to our last category, which is supporting actor. Kat, you can choose 2 supporting actors here. Who do you want as a supporting cast for this movie?
We're going to pick one at a time, which is great for me because I have a long list of supporting people that I could totally pull into this. I think I'm going to pull in my Santa, Bryan Cranston. He was in 'Twas the Night, and he's my Santa.
I had Cranston on my list.
Yeah,
Cranston was on my list.
I was looking at who I could consider as a Santa, and I said, you know what? I think he would be a great Santa in a Wes Anderson movie. Also, I feel like Bill Murray, while would be an appropriate Santa, would be too Wes Anderson. He was an option for me.
The man was literally in Asteroid City. Come on, Kat.
Listen.
Pick another white man. I don't know what else to say. You want a list?
Okay. Sorry, this is off track. Kat, go ahead and explain your pick.
So for my first supporting character, I'm picking Bryan Cranston, who was in 'Twas the Night. But I'm picking him because I know he can do Wes Anderson and he'd be a fantastic Santa. I feel like he's old enough to do Santa vibes without it feeling weird.
Who doesn't want the man himself, Heisenberg, with kids on his lap? what do you want for Christmas? He
You
can
want
do
some blue meth, kid?
it. And then it's Tuco sitting on his lap,
Oh,
chewing
no.
some meth. That's that good
But
stuff.
yeah, he is my first supporting.
Okay, so I'll go ahead with my first supporting. I'm going to follow in her steps. I'm going to choose my Santa because quite literally, Santa needs help. Have y'all seen The Holiday with Kate Winslet and like Cameron Diaz where they like switch houses and fall in love with
No, but
other
I was
guys?
looking at it.
Okay, Christmas movie. My Santa is Jack Black.
Hell
Come
yeah.
and get it.
100% on board. Let's go.
Imagine it. He already has the beard. He's already this comic genius. This man just oozes off this sort of joy. And why would he not be just like the most amazing Santa? Hollywood, come rip me off, please.
I feel like he'd
beg
be a
of you.
fantastic Santa. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play Santa in the next few years.
Because he's a little younger, but like does not matter age when you're trying to pick a
You
Santa.
can throw makeup on.
Only if James Avery was in a Christmas movie, or else I would have chose James Avery. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, Zach, who's your first supporting actor?
I just want to say, because I feel like I'm a little left out, that there's not a Santa in A Christmas Carol, that my Santa was going to either be, if I would have got the other one, was either going to be Eugene Levy or it was going to be Brian Cox. So I'm just
Beautiful.
letting you know that I had some good ones lined up.
Brian Cox? That would have to be a horror movie.
He was going to be Santa's brother in my idea of a movie, but whatever. It's fine. I'm just feeling a little left out.
And Eugene Levy, you have Eugene Levy on the podcast. Yeah, one of our friends, he's like, oh, Vikash, you look like Eugene Levy. I'm like, I guess that's a good thing. I'm the dad in American Pie.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot what I was even doing.
Crickets. Straight crickets.
Okay, so supporting actors. So I've been really like stuck on this because I have a lot of ways I can go. I'm going to give you my first one. This movie has to have 3 ghosts, right? So I only have 2 supporting actor slots. So I'm going to say one of them for the end since I don't have a slot for it. But so the first one is the Ghost of Christmas Past. So I was thinking, who is a really good dick in a previous Christmas movie, a past Christmas movie? Because I want this to be a little meta. So who was really good at it? And I was like, you know who was really good at it? Chevy Chase. He's great at being just a dick. I would bring him in as the first ghost. Old Chevy Chase would come in and he would represent the Christmas movies of past, the Christmas studio comedies of past. And that would be his representation. And he'd be old and he'd be cranky and he'd be there to advise Michael Cera on what not to do.
Anyone who has seen Community, the show that Chevy Chase was on, that sort of role that he plays in the show is kind of what you want here too. And this hapless man be amazing in this role.
Okay, so back to Kat.
Kat, who's your second supporting actor?
So I keep getting bullied about all the Wes Anderson picks, so I can't do Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, Lord.
Actually, yeah, I'm saying you can't. Pick someone else.
I cannot.
Wait, did you pull her from Home Alone 3, though?
Oh, of course. So
Okay.
I had her written down as one of my several supporting ideas. I'm going to pull from another one of my plot ideas, and I'm going to do Aubrey Plaza. She was in Happiest Season, the lesbian movie. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Is that how you describe it?
That's how Zach says it to me. The lesbian Christmas movie.
It's a good movie. Kristen Stewart.
I thoroughly
Alison
enjoyed
Brie.
that movie.
Like, the BDE in that movie is off the charts.
I really liked it. Stacked cast, honestly. And Aubrey Plaza wasn't like on brand Aubrey Plaza crazy in that movie. She was just straight with it. I'm like, damn, I love her.
I think Aubrey Plaza is one of the greatest actresses working right now. I know
Absolutely.
y'all haven't seen Legion. She did this drama film last year, Emily the Criminal. Everything that she did, she's done so many wild things. Legion season 2, season 1, she's just every single time she's on screen, she's magnetic. Whether it's like a real life situation, whether it's the comedy, whether it's some lofty sci-fi comic book thing, she's always selling it. She would be amazing in whatever this Christmas movie is that you're making with Wes Anderson.
My Wes Anderson Killer Christmas.
She would add to it. Is she a final girl?
Huh?
Is she a final girl?
She's got some final girl energy.
Final girl? What the fuck does that mean?
A lot of horror movies, they have a trope that they have a final girl. There's a girl who survives at the end. That's a trope of horror
Oh.
movies. The woman that is like going through the shit, she's gonna
Yep.
survive.
I haven't thought
Yeah,
that
like,
heavily into
she's got
it.
that vibe.
I don't have an end surviving character. That's something we can workshop. But yeah, anyway, Aubrey Plaza was my
They all
second
die.
Yeah, everyone
Sa-
freaking dies.
Bryan Cranston comes with the axe and he's like, if y'all have seen that the Shining commercial where Bryan Cranston is Jack Nicholson, he comes in with the axe and he's like ho ho ho, and he's just chopping down victims.
Jack Nicholson would have been a great Santa. Like a little, maybe not as old as he is now, but like 10 years ago, he would have been a great Santa.
That would be an interesting Santa.
Imagine him and The Departed, but as Santa.
Oh my, that is such a twisted. Oh my God. That would be so messed up. That would be disgustingly awesome. Okay, so for my second supporting actor pick, it's going to be someone that Henry Golding and Jack Black are playing off of. And I had some widely varying approaches to this, but I think I'm going to go with Michelle Yeoh for this one. And
Hell yeah.
she just won her Oscar. She's also in, I think, Last Christmas with him, and she kind of plays his mother in Crazy Rich Asians. I wanted to go Tiana Paris or Emma Thompson. I was like over like a wide playing field, but I'm gonna go Michelle Yeoh. I think she brings a regality every time she comes in for a performance, and we need it for this one. I think it's needed. And no, she literally plays Santa in Last Christmas. Oh my God. I picked the Santa, but she's not Santa in this.
Her stock has never been higher than it is right now, even with all the stuff she's done previously. Winning the Oscar and coming off of leading a Oscar-sweeping movie, like, she is on fire, and picking her was a great choice.
It makes no sense. She has been just as great her entire career. She's always been cooking, whether it's like Police Story 3, literally risking her life, and all the way till now, whether it's not Hong Kong, whether it's here, wherever she's doing it, Michelle Yeoh is amazing.
Yeah, mic drop.
Okay, Zach. Last pick of the draft, Zach. Supporting actor, who are you going with?
Okay, so this is a tough one because I have 2 roles to fill, but I only have 1 pick. So we have the Ghost of Christmas Present and then the Ghost of Christmas Future. I am like still going back and forth with what I want to do for Ghost of Christmas Present. But in the movies, can I ask you guys? I haven't seen one of them in a minute. Is the Ghost of Christmas Present supposed to be like someone who's in the town, or is it like a different figure? Because I feel like I can't remember.
It could quite literally be the same dude if you wanted.
Well,
you could
because
cook
I'm
it any
thinking
way
in
you
my
want.
head, I'm going to have Kieran Culkin be the Ghost of Christmas Present, okay? I'm just going to have him do that part. And then, so for my Ghost of Christmas Future, I'm actually going to bring in Jon Favreau. He was in 4 Christmases. He is the current future of what modern blockbusters are.
I
think it'd be an interesting meta choice to bring him in because he's the future of what Christmas movies are probably going to be. IP tied in, holiday, how Guardians of the Galaxy did a Christmas special. That's what the future of these Christmas movies are going to be like. And he's the guy who I'm bringing in as a meta choice.
Great choice.
You acted like this man didn't already direct.
Elf.
This man literally directed a Christmas movie.
That doesn't
Elf.
qualify him. He has to be in the movie. So 4 Christmases,
But
he was in that.
No, but I'm saying you're saying he's the future, but I'm like, he already goated it. He already made a Christmas
He
classic,
created the
man.
future with Elf, and with these superhero movies he's directed, he's created the future of what Christmas movies I think will
Zach's
be.
getting so meta.
I am. I'm getting really meta.
I would love to see him in a role in front of the camera again. He's played Happy Hogan for the Marvel movies. He hasn't really done much besides he's been writing Mandalorian. I would love to see him again
Shout
in a
out
movie.
to Chef
Great
and the
idea.
Chef Show.
Yeah, and not even low key. He's a good actor. Go back and watch Swingers. I know Vince Vaughn steals the show, but Jon Favreau is a good actor, and I'd like to see him get some roles again. So that's who I picked.
Yeah.
I'm
Great
just
choice.
really surprised none of us chose him for director. Now he was my second pick for all my vibes.
I had Bob Zemeckis and him. I mean, you can't really get better than that for people who've done Christmas movies already.
Yeah, I had him down for my other categories, but for me to do this Wes Anderson killer movie, he was not down.
You're bringing to life the dreams of like millennials who are in high school watching SNL.
I was going between him and Henry Winkler, and Henry Winkler just didn't fit my vibe for what I was trying to go for, but I really wanted to find a way to get him in here because in Barry, he plays such a good like jerk that I was like, man, that would really fit what I want to do, but I couldn't, in the meta aspect of what I want to do, I couldn't figure out a way to make him work, so he's left on the cutting room
Bro,
floor
you're
for
working
me.
too hard. I wasn't worried about no meta-ness. I'm just trying to make a good movie in the first place.
No, I'll explain it all afterwards. Is there anybody that you had marked that you guys wanted to draft that just couldn't happen before we get into the final recap?
I had several other people, but 2 of the 3 are Wes Anderson people.
Y'all, I can't get a break. I
And then
cannot
we have
escape
Saoirse.
this Wes Anderson.
Saoirse Ronan.
What was she in?
Saoirse was going to be in mine. Yeah.
The Christmas Miracle of Jonathan Toomey.
What? Is that a movie?
Yeah.
She was a child.
Is that real?
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan.
Oh, she had a lot of child roles.
She did?
Yeah.
I had her in here as another supporting option.
She's a goat. She's a goat. She's amazing.
I also had Florence Pugh.
Same. She's
So Cass just
I
putting
mean,
down
we
attractive
cut- we-
women. Okay.
We could have gone.
love a pretty
we could have gone
lady.
down the Little Women being a Christmas movie vibe. Which
Little
it
Women
works
was
out.
on my list as a
I think
Christmas
it's pretty
movie.
close.
Google said
It's
it.
pretty close. Yeah, I did actually. I had Greta Gerwig down as a director for Little Women for one of my choices. So
That's
yeah.
Had
that's
Bob
kind of pushing it
Odenkirk
too.
down for Little Women as a Santa option for a different plot line.
We let Kat pick Wes Anderson off an H&M commercial. I think I can push it with Little Women if I wanted to.
Little Women, it's absolutely a Christmas movie. Don't fight me.
I'm gonna run through mine real fast.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know some of these people. Okay, Mary Elizabeth Winstead was on there. Keira
Oh.
Knightley, Emma Thompson, Regina King, Imogen
Yep.
Poots, Tiana Paris. All women I was thinking of. For leads, I was thinking of Michael Keaton, John Cho, Bryan Cranston, Shamik Moore, Idris Elba. For villains, I had Keegan-Michael Key. If I had done like Christmas Carol sort of thing, I would have gone with him. Arnold, obviously. Delroy Lindo, amazing. Denzel, amazing. Michael Shannon, amazing. And I literally have a list of like so many more people that are in Christmas movies that I could have chose, but I didn't. Just depending on, whichever one we had.
I did have a couple other actor suggestions that I had in mind that I workshopped, but it never really came close. So if I did decide to go the action route, Patrick Swayze was in Christmas in Wonderland. There was a world where I run with him. Prime Patrick Swayze would be a killer
R.I.P.
Christmas movie guy. I did play around with Ben Affleck in Reindeer Games as an action lead as well, and Jude Law in The Holiday. So that was my action thought process.
Yeah, he's
was
in the
one of
holiday.
them.
Reindeer Games, he quite literally is kind of Santa in the movie. Santa with the Glock, but whatever.
In terms of like Christmassy, funny Christmassy movies, Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Christmas Vacation. I was thinking about
She's
using
in
her.
Christmas Vacation?
She's the neighbor.
Oh,
They have
okay,
these
okay.
neighbors who are too cool for Christmas, and she's
You know
really funny in
Lil
it.
Rel Howery, the guy who plays like the TSA agent in Get Out? He just
Yeah.
played Santa in a movie this year, and
Oh,
I was like,
cool.
he would have been hilarious in a Christmas movie.
So because I ended up having to do the Christmas Carol, I didn't get to do a love interest, so I had to leave all these women on the cutting room floor. So I did have Kristen Stewart down, Allison Brie down, Aubrey Plaza down, Michelle Monaghan
Sus.
down,
Sus.
like, just Zoe Deschanel. Like, I had some choices, but they just don't fit with the movie. And then lastly, I just want to give a shout out to Danny Trejo. Couldn't get him in, but he was in a very Harold and Kumar Christmas, and I love that man. So, it is what it is.
Machete would have been perfect. Machete would have been perfect in a Christmas movie.
He would have been Santa.
You would have been Santa. Exactly. Actually, they should make a Robert Rodriguez come make this Machete Christmas
Oh, gosh.
movie.
Can we just start this
That
all
would be
over?
a-
I want to do a Robert Rodriguez
Hold
Christmas movie.
on.
Can we just start the whole draft over?
Finish this.
Machete.
Now.
Machete, that would be
Finish
amazing.
this current.
Okay.
Finish your
So-
drafting so then we can
Yeah,
wrap
so
it
guys,
up.
we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and we're each going to describe the plots that we put together for our movie and give it a title. Be right back.
Alrighty, we're back. Let's see what you've got cooked up. Kat, tell me a Christmas story. A bloody one, please.
Would you like the title before or after?
Afterward, make it dramatic.
Okay, so in this Wes Anderson killer Christmas movie, Nathan Fielder plays an elf on the shelf. The elves return on Christmas Eve, but one had a bad kid and the behaviors rubbed off on him. That defected elf, played by Jason Schwartzman, goes on a murder spree on Christmas Eve after Santa leaves. Christmas magic can cure this defective elf, but only Santa, played by Bryan Cranston, can access that pure magic. Nathan Fielder, Aubrey Plaza, and the other elves must get help from Santa, but he is off delivering presents. Can they survive until he gets back? Check out this non-existent movie, Kringle Co. or Studio Santa.
Wait, Kringle
I
what?
have an explanation. Kringle Co., like a company. C-O, period. Wes Anderson seems to always name things based on the location or setting, so like Grand Budapest Hotel, Isle of Dogs, Asteroid City, The French
Oh,
Dispatch.
shoot, that's a good point.
I did a lot of research just for that movie title. I think I spent 20 minutes on it. Last night.
He would probably call it something like North Pole.
He would. He would do something less corporate, more whimsy, but I couldn't think of anything. So Kringle Co.
Kringle and Elves, Kringle and Associates.
Kringle Co.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that's some juice.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Nathan Fielder, I can just see him as a small elf. They shrink him to just be in the background. He looks so creepy. And
He's
can
an
see
elf
that.
on the shelf. So my art style, which was not a category, we deliberately said we'll just let ourselves have free reign with that, would be a combo live action stop motion where he would be a stop motion elf on the shelf. And then when he returns to the North Pole, he is a human person. Except, an elf, so live action.
Just run him stop motion the whole movie. Make it Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but at the North Pole. That'd be awesome.
I want to see his face.
Okay. I mean, animate his face, mocap. Honestly, I mean, make it happen. That'd be awesome.
I like it, Kat.
Thank
That's a
you.
good one.
I was kind of cooking and then I got like weird with it. So let's get weird with this Chris Columbus directed movie about Santa needing help. So we open on a shrewd businessman, single father. The wife has died, has a lovely daughter with a heart of gold, and it's a busy Christmas holiday. He's worried about the Daniels merger at work, the biggest deal of his career, and he's not seeing his daughter. She's not getting that Christmas cheer this year, and she's got stuff going on at school. She's an artistic kid. She's making these weird movies, and people are making fun of her. She's getting bullied at school. She's feeling alone. He has a meeting with the principal. He goes in, and he doesn't want to be there in the first place. They get in the car. He's arguing with his daughter, and as they're driving down the road, he's turning around, trying to talk to his daughter. He hits someone else. He T-bones somebody else. A red car. And he gets out, gets his daughter out, and who is it but Jack Black playing Santa? And he's like, "What are you doing, man? Why are you hitting me?" And even then, he's being dismissive. He's being a terrible dad. This man, he's like, "Why are you arguing with your daughter?" Like, Santa already knows why this man is so bad. And he's like, "I've got a lump of coal for you." But now this man is literally stranded Santa. He's got nowhere to go. He was undercover in this little red VW, but it was actually the reindeers with him in there. And he's injured some of the reindeers. This man has literally done some bad stuff. And now he's got to help Santa. And little do we know, the merger that he's worried about, it's actually Michelle Yeoh, our villain, and she has doled out Arnold, come, and just like, "We're going to take all the cheer this year." And Arnold's out there like, "I'm taking all the cheer." And he's going around, he's chasing Santa. So Henry Golding, Jack Black, they're getting chased. Arnold's after them. It's kind of an action movie, but then it turns into a heist movie because they have to get the Christmas cheer back. Because if they don't get the Christmas cheer back, then they can't do anything. So they go, they steal the Christmas cheer, and through all this nonsense, he finally realizes, like, why am I worrying about work? Why am I worrying about this stuff? My kid literally doesn't have a mother. They leave with this lovely note of like, you should value your kids. You should value your family. Yeah, you need money, but it ain't everything. So that's my Christmas movie. And corny name, it's called A Cheer Heist. We got to steal the cheer back.
I like it. It sounds like one of those old school like family Christmas movies where it's just about the dad having to become a better person to save Christmas. Like there's a bunch of those, and those always are awesome.
Yep.
The Tim Allen ones were kind of like that. Even though I'm not the biggest Tim Allen guy, those movies are work because of that. At
Those
least
are
I mean, I'm not either. For me, it's like it's kind of got a little bit of Christmas Carol in there, but it's ultimately that it's all about the family, right?
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
get that. I think that's a good way to use it. I also think it's funny that you have Arnold as a villain, but then you have Michelle Yeoh as kind of like the one pulling the strings. Is that right?
Yeah, so Arnold would be the most prevalent, like he's the one who's in the movie doing all the bad stuff, but Michelle Yeoh is the one pulling the strings. And I did throw in the Daniels name in there a little bit. I was thinking about the Daniels and everything are all everywhere all at once a little bit.
So it's like The Dark Knight Rises, where Bane's the bad guy, but Tabitha Al Ghul is the one pulling the strings.
Yes. Hey, I pulled from Nolan too. Dead wife. It works.
A dead wife trope is very common.
That's a common holiday movie. I mean, Wonka's not like a holiday movie, but the Willy Wonka movies, but they kind of what they do. They feel like holiday movies.
Okay, Zach. So run that movie. What is your movie?
I wrote it like a synopsis. In this movie comedy, Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Michael Cera, is a jerk firm manager in a winter New York City who despises Christmas. Scrooge treats one of his nicest and meekest staff members, Bob Cratchit, played by Kieran Culkin, very poorly and makes him work late and miss Christmas Eve with his family. One night, Scrooge is visited by a ghost who warns Scrooge that if he does not become kinder, he will face an awful fate, maybe even death. Scrooge is visited by three ghosts: the ghost of Christmas Past, Chevy Chase; Christmas Present, played by Kieran Culkin himself; and Christmas Future, Jon Favreau, in a meta-comedy where the ghosts allude to not only Scrooge's potential life and death, but the past and future of Christmas studio comedies. By the end of the story, Scrooge learns the importance of what true wealth is, not having money but giving kindness. And we all learn that we can still support studio comedies about Christmas that are not IP driven. That is what I call a new Christmas Carol.
I'm telling you, David Zaslav is listening. He's about to jack all of this. Bob Iger's listening.
I love it.
So all these movies will be streaming on Hulu.
No, but I just imagine Kieran Culkin is like, you know, from Succession when he's like scared of his dad half the time. He's like a kick puppy. He's like that the whole time in this is how I imagine it. Because he is usually snarky, but he's also really good at just being like someone who's just been beaten. So that's kind of his like role in this.
So
And
like
then,
a puppy.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's like supposed to be a character that has no flaws in this. He's just the nicest guy, and he's just getting shit on by a mean Michael Cera. Then you have just Chevy Chase being a jerk, which he's really good at. Kieran Culkin gets to be Christmas present, and then he can kind of be a jerk during that too. And then, so he can do both. And then Christmas Future, Jon Favreau is just there, just doing his like, I'm Jon Favreau thing. I don't know. So I just think it's funny. I think that would be a funny concept. And then, of course, Richard Donner he made Scrooge. So he knows how to do this. I'm not worried
He
about
just
him.
needs a better story. This sounds like a better story than Scrooge already.
Yeah, Bill Murray would have been cool, but I felt like it was a little on the nose
great.
to throw Bill Murray into it. So I just left him
Michael
off.
Cera's better. Michael Cera would be hilarious.
I love a studio comedy.
You guys have fun with this? You guys want to do this again?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
definitely going to be doing this again
I
for a
enjoyed
lot
it.
more genres, action movies, heist movies, westerns. I said all the dad movies first. Romantic comedies, I'm going to force that one.
Rom-com's gonna be freaking awesome.
My thing is there's always genres.
Yeah, there's always genres. If you out there, you have a suggestion of something you would like us to draft, if you have a really good idea, find a way to reach us. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, I don't care. Reach out to us and let us know what your idea is, and could be something that we do. Thank you all for listening to our first ever perfect movie draft. We had a lot of fun doing this. If you would like to see these drafts in the future, please reach out to us and let us know what you thought. We want to keep doing these, and we want to keep doing other fun things in between us reviewing and talking about movies that we love. So happy holidays to everybody that listens.
Yeah, we already have our Die Hard episode out too if you want to have another, like an actual holiday movie. We had a great time doing this, and we'll see you next time. We loved having Catie on. She's going to be back very soon. Wink, wink. I mean, we're going to be doing a couple of movies with Catie literally really soon. So expect her back.
I'm also always here, constantly.
Yes, she is. She is always constantly here. And that's why we wanted to bring her on in a full capacity. We had a great time. And like Zach said, I hope you all have a great holidays. Watch some movies. Be with the people that you love. What more is there to do?
Thanks, guys. See you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cinema Pursuit. Cinema Pursuit is produced by Catie Nadell, Zach Nadell, and Vikas Patel. Special thanks to Cole Cooper for the intro and outro music. You can listen to Cinema Pursuit on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you may listen to podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Cinema Pursuit Podcast, Twitter or X at Cin Pursuit Pod, and check out our subreddit, r/Cinema Pursuit.